You are listening to Viewpoints from Place Cloud. Cultural researchers tell stories of places from around the world. For the full multimedia experience and to support the creators you enjoy, visit placecloud.io.
41 Cloth Fair is the oldest house still extant in the City of London. It managed to survive the Great Fire of London in 1666, which was no small feat. Most houses during the Great Fire were lost because there was just simply no way of protecting them. In a world where there was no fire brigade, there was no way of pumping water through, and most of the houses were wooden and very, very close together, it was impossible to save them all when you needed to worry about saving people's lives. There's only a handful of buildings that still stand from the Great Fire, and most of them are churches because these are the sort of places that an effort would have been made to save them. And oftentimes they would be behind walls that establish where their property was. That's the case of 41 Cloth Fair. It had been behind a set of priory walls linked to St. Bartholomew's Church across the street. So the fire couldn't jump this big stone wall in order to burn it down. One of the reasons why 41 Cloth Fair is interesting, other than the fact that it's quite old, is that it tells us something about the concept of a house in London in the early modern period. At this time, a house isn't necessarily just a house or one building. And the term house oftentimes references what we would call a household. And that would be a collection of buildings that is held by a particular family. In a rich city like London that is controlled by the incredibly powerful and wealthy guilds, a household would be any members of the family that lived there, any of their servants that would, for example, work in their kitchens or work in their stables, and it would be any apprentices that were learning trades as well. So it's not just one house that houses a family, it's a collection of buildings, oftentimes centered around a courtyard in the middle. So if you have a stable, that's a part of your house. If you have a workspace, that's a part of your house, as well as anywhere that you're living and doing business itself. We know that 41 Cloth Fair was indeed a part of such a collection of houses. It was one of 11 buildings that were centered around a green in the middle, and this was called the square in Launders Green. So we can see from maps exactly what this house was a part of, but it's the only extant bit still standing. It is particularly interesting because it is rumored that there are skeletons in the foundation of the house. We don't know if this is actually true or not because we can't actually go dig down into it because it's a grade 1 listed building. Very unfortunate, we also almost lost this building in 1929 and during the city's demolition of various slums. It was considered so old and desolatory that no one thought it could really be saved. Luckily, that can was kicked down the road as larger problems arose, and in 1995, new owners purchased it and did it up to the state that you see now. It has a set of leaded windows that have signatures of various famous people who have come through. They're etched in with a diamond pen. Unfortunately, none of those are particularly old or, early modern people, but, you could see Winston Churchill's name in the windows there. It's a really lovely building and a testament to what cities used to be. It tells us a lot about how people think about their place within a city during the time and how much we have changed. When is a house not a house? Well, when it's part of a household. But still, 41 Cloth Fair remains an important and beautiful house in the City of London, and personally one of my favorite places.